Hi, I'm Cathie, and welcome to Cathie's Cooking School. This is the first episode of what I hope will be many, and I decided to do a cooking show because I liked to combine my love of the camera and cooking into one. And so basically what we have here is it's going to be a basic dish. It's something that I created, not necessarily from the menu. I apologize, hopefully you can see me, and I also apologize for the distance if I have to stop the camera, get up to move the camera. I don't have someone filming me right now, but this hopefully will be, if we do, each season will be themed generally, whether it's Thai food or, since I am still in college, perhaps how to cook college dishes and things like that are affordable and in the price range. But right now, what we're going to do is we are going to cook beef steak tips as well as cinnamon monkey bread. And I also need to apologize for the layout of this kitchen, the way it's laid out, but bear with me. And let's see, the first important thing to know about cooking is that you generally want to have all your ingredients out and you want the table to be clear. You want to make sure that everything is clean and handy. Now we are going to start with the beef steak tips because that will take the longest time. So I'm just going to cut a hole. This is the beef. And I'm just going to puncture a hole right there like that. And there's different ways we can cook this. There's different things you can do with it. Okay, so I'm going to do that. And while we're waiting, I'm going to turn the oven on. The oven is right here behind me. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, so I'm just going to turn this on. We have a gas stove, which is supposed to be a really good stove, but you don't want it on a high flame because generally a high flame, which should be that's a high flame, this is a low flame. You want it on a very low flame. You want to make sure so nothing burns, but we're just trying to get everything to be nice and warm, okay? And I just wanted to introduce black pepper, one of my favorite spices. In addition to black pepper, sea salt, I find, goes with almost everything, adds a nice touch, a nice spark to it. I also want to introduce basil, as well as ground cinnamon, which is supposed to be really good for the health. I have different types of garlic salt, garlic powder, and fresh garlic. I am very fond of garlic. It stays on the breath a while, but it does taste magnificent. Okay, we also have ground red pepper, ground allspice, and ground sage. These are some of my favorite spices. That doesn't mean we're going to use all of them, but we do want to make sure that we have a nice flavor to this beef, to this steak, even though there might be stuff mixed in. Let's see if we can smell. It smells like there is stuff there, but if we want to add something of our own, then we can do that. There's also a bit of hot sauce. I don't know how many of you are fans of hot sauce. Soy sauce, a little bit of homemade vodka sauce, and 2 types of stir fry, if you choose to do that, okay? But I'm just going to put the steak out here, just like that. Hopefully you can see that well. Okay, we're going to peel that off. Okay, there should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steak skewers. Now, sorry, I'm going to have to leave the camera for a moment to make sure I dispose of anything that shouldn't be used. Okay, now that that's taken care of, I'm going to make sure the oven's on, and so we have oil right here. So we're going to let the oil get a little bit hot there. Okay, now I'm just going to add a little bit of sea salt to this. It'll give it a nice flavor, and it will cook in. That's something we definitely want. And I also like to add a little bit of pepper, so we're just going to add a little pinch of pepper on that. Okay, and let's see which we want to go with. We're going to go with the garlic salt today, and we're just going to go with a dash of garlic salt. And then basil is something, definitely you like to use basil a little bit for color. Okay, so Let's catch a look at that. Okay. Now moving forward around our kitchen, we're headed back to the pot. We're headed back to the frying pan. Okay. Now we're going to get ready to put all of this onto the pan. We're going to watch how it cooks. Okay. And last things, you need to be careful when you're working with fried oils. You don't want it to burn or anything, so you gotta be careful. Gotta keep an eye out on that. We can probably fit a few more in here. And I apologize for the stick that's on them. So that's 3 skewers. 3. So a way to make sure that it's cooked in time is if you follow us around the kitchen here. And what we're going to do is set the timer. Okay, so we're going to set that for about 6 minutes. Ooh, let's try that again. 6. Start. That's counting down. That's how we're going to know how the beef skewers are. You want to be very careful when you're cooking meat. You don't want to get sick or anything. So, although there is other dishes you can cook with this, we're just going to wait until the meat is all cooked, all prepared. We're going to take the spatula. We're just going to check on that. You want to move the oil around a bit. We're going to add a bit more oil to make sure that that gets fried, grilled, and boiled well. We want to make sure that it's cooked through. So for that, we're going to turn the heat up a bit. That might have been a bit too much oil, but we're going to try and burn that. Let's see if we can add another piece of scoop to that. And that concludes part 1. Stay tuned for part 2 with Cathie's cooking school.